Hello everyone, welcome to our channel Code with Sunny, and in this video I am going to talk about the problems of April Circuits 2021, and the problem name is a special sequence. Okay, so without wasting our time, let's directly discuss this problem given an array A that contains integers with the following constraints. Okay, A contains elements in the sorted order. Integer I occurs I into this time, it means exactly this times in this array. It will give us some value, I don't know what value, and all elements are greater than or equal to 1. That is, starting from 1 I need to consider the values. Okay, and also we have been given q queries and L to R. Find the number of distinct values present in subarray starting from A, L to R. Okay, now note that the indexing are from one based indexing, and for every queries L to R we need to print the number of distinct values. Okay, and you can see queries goes up to 10 power 5, and LLR both can go at most 10 power 13. Okay, so if you're not going to understand this problem and the entire scenario what is happening in this problem, no need to worry about. I'm going to explain this each and everything with the help of examples. Okay, so let's move further. Okay, so basically this is the function that will give us the value that how much time a particular integer will occur in my array. Okay, now starting from number 1, let's calculate the value. If I is going to be 1, I have the value corresponding to I equal to 1 would be 2, and for I equal to 2 I think the value will come out to be 3, and for I equal to 3 it will come out to be like 5 times. Okay, so basically it means that we will build up an array like starting from 1 in a sorted order. Like for in I equal to 1, it means that integer 1 will occur exactly 2 times in this array. It should be like okay, it should be like 1 1, and for I equal to 2 it means that integer 2 will occur exactly 3 times in this array. It should be like 2 2 2. Note that I should build the array in the sorted manner according to this given condition. Okay. Now again for I equal to 3, it gives the value as 5. It means that 3 occurs 5 in this times in this array. Okay. Now for every query, you can notice that q goes up to maximum of 10 power 5, and every query L and R is going to be like okay, it's going to be like 10 power 13. Okay, now you can see for every query L to R, we need to find out the number of distinct elements occurring in this range L to R. Suppose we have been given this L and we have been given this R. What is the distinct numbers that is present in this range? You can see the distinct number is coming out to be 2. I need to print this output 2 for every query. Okay. Now one thing, what is the brute force approach? What is the very first approach that it should strike in your mind? That is apply the brute force approach. That is, for every query I should just build up this array, or just pre-calculate, just build up this array of size, I don't know the size, but you can see R is going to be like maximum of 10 power 13. So you should build up this array of size 10 power 13, which is going to be invalid. Why this is going to be invalid? Building an array of size of such a bigger amount, it is going to give us the memory limit exceeded verdict. Okay, so building of array of size maximum of 10 power 7 is going to be valid. Okay, so you cannot build an array of size of 10 power 13. Okay, and also for this approach, that is building of array of size of maximum of 10 power 13, you can easily see complexity of your code for such brute force approach would be like O of q into the maximum length that you can got, that is q of 10 power 13, which is go up to 10 power 18 iterations, and which will always give us a TLE verdict. Okay, so this approach is going to fail. Okay, then what should be the best approach to solve this problem? Okay, so let me talk about the best approach to solve this problem. Okay, so you can easily see that number 1 occurs 2 times in this array, and number 2 occurs 3 times in this array, number 5 occurs 4 times in this array, and so on. I don't know what are the further numbers. Okay, you can see 2 corresponds to integer 1, 3 corresponds to this integer 2, and 5 corresponds to this integer 3. Okay, now you can see if we have been given the value of L to R, You must think about that I have to iterate for q queries, and it should take us a 10 power 5 iterations, and for every q query I should have a best way to calculate the number of distinct values in this range L to R, and what is the best way under the given time limit. It should be like log of something value, log of something 10 power 6 or 10 power 7 should be the value, so that our complexity would be like O of q log of something like 10 power 6. Okay, so this should be a valid solution for this problem. Why? You can see this will be under the given iterations, under the given maximum iterations. That is what is the maximum iterations for any problem. It should be like 10 power 8 or 10 power 7. If you calculate this value O of q log of 10 power 6, where q is 10 power 5, it should be under the given time constraints or the time limit that you can say. Okay, so I need to just calculate the number of distinct integers in the range L to R in the best possible way in some log of something time complexity. Okay, now how we should calculate this value? Okay, now the very pretty much observation that you should focus that let me first build up an array where the number of you can say number of times a particular integer will occur. In that you can say number of times a particular integer 1 will occur or 2 will occur. Let us build up an array for such integers. Okay, now you should think that I will vary from how much that is how much times will I will vary. I will vary up to 10 power 13 or what? You don't know, but you are aware that R that is given to us will at most go up to 10 power 13. R is basically what? If you have been given R like this, you can easily think that R is basically the prefix sums of number of times a particular integer occur. That is, let's say R is going to be like 5. It means that you must have to think like this 2 is covered, and then again this 3 is covered. R is basically talking about if R is given as 5, it basically means that only two distinct integers starting from 0 is going to happen. Okay, so if R is going to be 13, 10 power 13, what is the maximum value of I that is going to be such that the given this function will yield a value which is going to be less than or equal to 10 power 13. Okay, that is basically I am talking about if R is going to be like 10 power 13, what is the maximum value of I such that this function will give us the value whose value is going to be like less than or equal to this R. You can easily see this value, that is if you have to calculate it by a brute force approach, what is the maximum I that you should get such that this value, this expression will give us the value less than or equal to this R. Then you will get that maximum I will come around 10 power 5 or 10 power 6. I have just calculated that it will come out to be 10 power 5. Okay, it means that if you calculate the value of 10 power 5, that is put I equal to 10 power 5, then you will get the value from this expression, the value which is going to be less than or equal to this R. Okay, so I am just finding out what is the maximum I for which this expression will give us the value at most R. Okay, so if we just calculate this value, it means that I just need those distinct values to be focused upon. Okay, so if R is going to be given as 10 power 5, 10 power 13, you can easily see what is the maximum I that we are going to get. Maximum I that we are going to get would be like 10 power 5 around, and we can easily operate for these 10 power 5 distinct values. Okay, now let's move on how we are going to find out the for every query what is the maximum distinct value for that ends for that particular query. Okay. Okay, so for safer side, as I've already told, I'm going to just take n as 10 power 6. That is, if we fill up the find out the values up to 10 power 6, it would be like just crossing the value of r, which is going to be at most 10 power 13 or close to this r. Basically, how I found this 10 power 6? It is nothing but just find out the maximum value of I such that it is just like crossing this R value. Okay, or it is around 10 power 5 or 10 power 6, I don't remember. So for safe side I have just explaining for 10 power 6. Okay, So you can easily find that with the help of brute force approach. Okay, now just what I am doing is, just let me create a vector or array of size 10 power 6 and just fill up for every integer I this value. Okay, so it should be like 2 for 1, and then 3 for 2, and 5, and so on up to 10 power 6. Okay, this is basically for integer I, what is the number of times such that integer I will occur in my actual array. Okay, so if we find out the prefix sum of this array, it should be like 2, 5, and then 10, and so on. Okay, and what is the need of this prefix sum? Okay, for now just understand that I am just building the prefix sums. Okay, so I'm going to just explain the reason behind building that prefix sum also. Okay, now you can see what is my actual array. It should be like 1 should be occurring 2 times, and 2 should be occurring 3 times, and 3 should be occurring 5 times. Okay, now you can easily see that this 2 times will correspond to 1, and this 3 times will correspond to 2, and this 5 times will correspond to 3. Now suppose we have been given L as 1 and R as, let's call it as 4. Okay, now it means that we have to find out the number of distinct values in this range, which will be always 2. Now we can you can use the brute force approach, but this will give us a TLE. And what should be the best approach? I am talking about the best approach. Okay. Now what I am trying to find out, that for L and R, I will request the viewers to focus on this statement. That is, for L and R, what is the minimum index I in this prefix sum array, such that the value L is going to be like greater than or equal to this value present in this one. Okay, if you're not going to understand this, no need to worry about. I'm just talking about what is the minimum index I in this array, that is array of prefix sum, such that the value should be like greater than or equal to L. And similarly, what is the minimum index I such that the value present at that index I should be greater than or equal to this R. Okay, now you can see L is going to be 1, and what is the minimum index I such that the value present at that index I should be like greater than or equal to 1. You think that you can easily see it should correspond to this index. Okay, now what is the, okay, what is the, okay, so I think I've told something wrong. It should not be minimum index. What is the maximum index? I think. No. Okay, yes, it is correct. Okay. What is the minimum index? Okay. What is the minimum index I such that the value present at this index I should be like greater than or equal to this R. You can see minimum index I just crossing this value, it is like 5. Okay. It means that the difference, that is the values between these, that is the difference between this J and this I, let's call it as J minus I plus 1, will be our answer of number of distinct values in this range. Okay, now why should we answer such thing? Okay, why this is going to be give us the correct answer? Okay, now you can easily see that if L is going to be 1 like this one, it means that until this value of this 2, that is we have the same elements, that is 1 and 1. So I can easily try to find what is the minimum index I such that the value at this index I should be greater than or equal to L. So I'm trying to find out this thing, because you can see after such we have some same indexes, that is we have some same elements for this, that is it is occurring exactly 2 times, and similarly it is occurring exactly 3 times. And if we try to build up the prefix sums and try to find out what is the minimum index I such that it is greater than or equal to this L or greater than or equal to this R, we can easily find out the answer with the help of J minus I plus 1. Okay, now you can see if we build up this prefix sum 2, 5, 10, and if we try to find out the answers, I can easily find out the answers with the help of finding the minimum index of L and R. Okay, now the main thing that you should be think upon, that how to find out the minimum index for this L and minimum index for this R. You can easily use binary search, and if you are using a C++, you can easily use a C++ lower bound function as using in the STL, or you can just implement lower bound. Also, if you are using Python or any other programming language, I don't know how they used to find out the lower bound of a certain number. in a prefix sum, you can easily see if I am trying to find out the L, it is coming out to be 2, and if we try to find out for this R equal to 4, it is coming out to this one. Okay, and what is the answer? What is lower bound of this R minus lower bound of this L plus 1, the number of distinct elements. Okay, now I want to also demonstrate with the help of another example, that is, suppose L is going to be like 3 and R is going to be like, let's say, 7. Okay, what is the number of distinct elements in this range? So if we have just calculated the what are the number of times the elements are occurring, it should be like 2, 5, 10. I need to take the lower bound of this 3 into this prefix sum array. It should be like, what is the lower bound of this 3? It is corresponding to this 5, that is index 2. And what is the lower bound of this 7? It is corresponding to this index 10, that is index third with value 10. It is coming up to be 3. What is the number of distinct values? It should be like 3 minus 2 plus 1. Answer would be 2. Okay, so you can easily see starting from this 3 up to this 7, number of distinct values coming out to be 2. If we have been given like elements like L equal to this 6 and R equal to this 7, and both have the lower bound same as this index 3, our answer would be like 3 minus 3, 0 plus 1, answer would be like 1, and number of distinct elements should be 1. Okay, so the basic idea is, for rather than building a actual array of 10 power 13 size, try to find out the maximum I, which is going to be at most R, and try to build up the size of this I, that is, let's say, call it as n equal to 10 power 6, maximum I, let's call it as 10 power 6, and try to fill up the values and make the prefix sum of these values. And if we want to have a number of distinct elements in this range L to R, just I need to take the lower bound of this value. Okay, what is the number of elements that is going to be less than this L, and if it subtract this value from the number of elements that are going to be less than equal to R, I should get as the number of distinct elements, simply, as obvious. Okay, so if you are not going to have a pretty much a good idea, okay, no need to worry about. Just if you are going to look over the code, it should be like better for you to understand this entire scenario. Okay, so let's move further to the coding part. Okay, you can see I have here the accepted code over here. Time complexity would be like O of q log of n, where n is around 10 power 6. Space complexity will be O of n, because building a size of O of n. And here you can see I have a constant LLN is going to be like 10 power 6. And here I have get function that is going to get the value according to the given special integer I occurs this times in this array. It is basically returning this value, okay, for a particular integer I. Okay, I have taken the sum as 0, and I have just form a stored vector that is actually array that is going to store up to 10 power 6 values. Just iterated up to 10 power 6 and stored the prefix sum of all these values. And for answering every query, just take the lower bound of this L and lower bound of this R, and our answer will be number of distinct elements will be high minus low plus 1, simply. And this is going to be a very really much good way to solve this problem. Okay, if you have any doubts, do let me know in the comment section of the video, and I will ask the viewers to like this video, share this video, and do subscribe to our YouTube channel for latest updates. Thank you for watching this video.